Hello and welcome to the Mansfield Town Shirts YouTube channel, where today we find out a very important thing about League One. Who's got the best mascot? To say there are some rather strange mascots in League One would be a little bit of an understatement. So join me on this voyage of discovery as we jump straight into the list. So we start at number 24 with this guy. Billy the Brewer, Burton Albion. I don't know what makes him a brewer. He doesn't appear to have any brewing apparatus with him. He's not dressed like a brewer, and he's got a very, very creepy face. Wouldn't be a childhood favourite for me, this one. So unfortunately, sorry Billy. Although there is a nice bit of alliteration, and they are the Brewers. You, to me, aren't really a brewer yourself, so sorry, you're bottom of the list. I'll give Billy his due. The alliteration, and he supposedly was a brewer. I have no idea who this guy is. Apparently his name is Bodger, and he represents Wycombe Wanderers. I don't know what he is. He's near the bottom of the list. Again, he's a little bit less creepy looking than the last one, but still not great. Sorry, Bodger. Right then, 22nd place in this list is Miller Bear. They're not called the Bears. They're called the Millers. Okay, he's called Miller, but, he's just a pretty average bear. Now, their old mascot, Rotherham, when I was a kid, I think my second away game, first one was Scarborough, second one was Rotherham. I think we're talking 98, something like that, 97. They had this guy, Dusty Miller. Now, he would have been higher up this list, despite being one of the most creepy things I've ever seen. But he was a Miller. Whereas, unfortunately, sorry, Miller Bear, despite the name, you are not a Miller, you are a bear. Sorry. Sticking with bears, we have number 21, and it is Stockport, and it is Vernon Bear. Again, they're not called the Bears. I don't know whether there were many bears in Stockport. I don't know. Maybe there was. But Verdant Bear, unfortunately, you're just not very memorable. Sorry. This next one is called Clarence the Dragon. And if you didn't know anything about League One, you might look and go, well, which team are called the Dragons? You go, there isn't any team called the Dragons. There's one called the Cobblers, though. Is this a cobbling dragon called Clarence? Who knows? But you're quite low down the list. You're in 20th. Because you're not called the Dragons. I can't say anything about dragons. Again, same with bears in Stockport. Maybe there were dragons in Northampton. I don't know. But sorry, Cobblers fans. Clarence is pretty low down the list. Sorry. Back to bears then for number 19. And unfortunately, this team are not called the Bears either. But Borough Bear is from Stevenage. So, and he's a nice looking bear. He's called Borough Bear. There's a bit of alliteration there. Unlike Clarence the Dragon. Or Vernon Bear. So he's a little bit higher up than those two, but again, I can't see anything about bears in Stevenage, so sorry. 18th place now then, and no more bears in this one. For position 18, it is a dog, and it is Boomer, the dog, from Port Vale, who again, called the Valiants as far as I'm aware. I don't think anything to do with dogs. There may be. Please put me right in the comments if there is anything to do with dogs in Port Vale. No, I'm not going to go there. So, I don't know why their mascot is a dog, but he is a nice looking dog. So for that reason, he's a little bit higher than the rest, but yeah, not great. Alliteration is back in position 17 with Bloomfield Bear, another team who have nothing to do with bears. Were there bears in Blackpool? But there is one bear in Blackpool called Bloomfield Bear, so named after the ground. The alliteration's okay. He's wearing a hat, which is a tick point for Bloomfield Bear, and yeah. That's all there is to say really about Bloomfield Bear. He's an average bear. Alliteration reigns supreme again at position 16. But this time it's not a bear. It's a dog. And it's Donny Dog. Donny Dog is a good looking dog. Probably better than Port Vale's dog. But again, they're not called the dogs. And I don't know. Sorry, Donny fans, please let me know. Is it just the D factor? That you're called Doncaster and dog begins with D as well? I don't know. Let me know. The next two positions are both lions, but this first lion is called Grecian the Lion from Exeter. And he also has a lady friend as well. I don't know her name. I didn't find that out, but there are two lions. But Grecian the Lion, who we're going to base this on, is a very good looking lion. And Exeter have done well there. I'm not sure of the link to lions in Exeter, but he is a nice looking lion. Another team now then, in at 14. With a lion, and another team again. I'm not sure of the link between lions and their particular area. Maybe there is, maybe there isn't. Lofty the Lion of Bolton Wanderers. I've put him slightly just ahead of Exeter's Grecian Lion. I don't really know why. He just seems a bit taller. Maybe that's why he's called Lofty. But Lofty the Lion is in at 14. Up next then, in 13th place, is Theo, the Wyvern? I'm going to call it Wyvern, from Leyton Orient. Now, you might ask, I thought he was a dragon. He's not a dragon, he's a wyvern. And to quote Google, a wyvern is a mythical creature often depicted as a two-legged winged reptile with a venomous barbed tail similar to a dragon, but with fewer legs. Don't say it's not educational on this channel. So Theo is a wyvern. He's on the crest. He's the right colour. He matches everything else. He's perfect for the job, and he sits higher than a lot of those other ones we've just talked about, and he is in at 13. Now, this next one, in at 12, has a bit of a tenuous link to the name of the team. So it is Kingsley and Queensley, the Lions at Reading. You might go, well, they're not called the Lions. Yeah, we know that. They're called the Royals. Royalty, King, Lion King, I'll give it them. And he's a very good-looking lion. He's got a lady friend called Queensley. You know, they're fine by me, and they are in at 12. As we skirt around the top 10, in 11th place is a very awful-looking creature, but at least he fits in with, well, the supporters. But he also fits in with the club because they are called the Imps, and he is an imp. So we have the Imp from Lincoln and his aesthetically unpleasing Mrs. Imp. So they are in at 11. They're just outside the top 10 because they are called the Imps, and they are indeed imps, which puts them ahead of a lot of the people we've already talked about. So well done, Lincoln. You're in 11th. So we enter the top 10. This is where it gets a little bit difficult because the majority of these, if not all of them, or most of them, are very much linked to the club, and it's very easy to see the link, whereas some of the ones before we were a bit unsure about. Bartley the Bluebird is in at number 10. There's nothing wrong with Bartley the Bluebird. They are indeed a bluebird, and they are called the Bluebirds. It's fine, and it's a good mascot, and he's in at number 10. In 9th place, we have a massive cockerel-looking thing. It's Billy the Bantam of Bradford. Great, massive chicken-looking thing. It's a bantam. They're called the Bantams. Seems to get up to a lot of stuff around the pitch. His name's Billy, so there's alliteration there. What's not to like? Well inside the top 10 at number 9. In 8th place then, we have a rather angry looking dog. It's Toby the Tyke. Now, I never really knew why they were called tykes. Apparently it was originally a derogatory term. But the word tyke itself apparently comes from Norse, where it meant a female dog. Now, I think Toby, and I don't want to assume Toby's gender here, but I think Toby could be a male dog, albeit he's wearing shorts, so we can't really tell. But Toby's great. He's a cartoony looking angry dog who fits in with the alliteration and the club being called the Tykes. So we'll take Toby the Tyke, and yeah, he's inside the top 10 in 8th. 7th place then goes to Harry the Hatter and Happy Hattie. I had to look then because I'd already forgot. Happy Hattie. Easy for me to say. They are the mascots of Luton Town, and they're great. They're wearing hats. I assume there's something to do with making hats over there. That's why they've got hats on, the Hatters. Great. They are friendly-ish looking people. There's 2 of them. They're absolutely fine, and I quite like them. So, yeah, they're in 7th. Happy Hattie and Harry Hatter. There we go. I'm going to have to practice that more. In at number 6 are 2 stags of Mansfield Town. Sammy and Sally the Stag. Now, they are stags, and they are from Mansfield, who are called the Stags. What more could you possibly want? They are lovely-looking animals, and they are great mascots. And I'm very biased, of course, being a Mansfield Town fan. But they're great. They do the job. They are stags. They represent exactly what the club is, and they are in 6th place. Top 5 then. And up next, we have a very realistic dog. This is Terry the Terrier of Huddersfield Town. And what a great-looking dog he is. I mean, I'm not a massive fan of terriers myself. You know, they're a bit too small. But this guy is massive, and he looks very much like a terrier. He'd be up there for most realistic mascot, without a shadow of a doubt, because he looks definitely much like a terrier, and represents, of course, what the club's nickname is. I have no issue with that alliteration. Terry the Terrier, even better, into the top 5. Up next, at number 4, is Pete the Pilgrim. He is a pilgrim. They are called the Pilgrims. He's from Plymouth. It all begins with a P. That's why it's hard to pronounce. Pete the Pilgrim from Plymouth. That's better. He's a great looking mascot. He does what he says in the tin. He's wearing a massive hat. You know, with a massive handlebar moustache. What more could you possibly want from a mascot? And yeah, he's very good, and he's into 4th place. Into the top 3 then. And just like a politician would, I'm going to take back everything I've just said in the entire video, because 2 of these next 3 don't necessarily go with the name of the club or the nickname. But this next guy, at number 3, is called Peterborough. And they're called Peterborough. He is a massive rabbit. He has got the largest sponsored carrot you will ever see. And he's a very, very good looking rabbit. He's called Peterborough. I mean, whoever thought that is a genius, a marketing genius. The same as the guy who decided to sponsor the carrot that he carries around with him. There are no other mascots carrying carrots around, and Peterborough is a fantastic name. So for that alone, it's in at number 3. I debated this first and second for a long time. You have the tradition of a great English football club against a pie. Now this is Krusty the Pie, and he is in 2nd place, and so much of me wanted to put this man first, but he isn't. Wigan have got nothing to do with pies. They do sell good pies, as I can attest to at the Mansfield away game last season at Wigan. I think in 2019 their fans did some sort of poll or some sort of competition, and the winner chose Krusty the Pie, whose shirt on the back says Krusty and then the number 8 the pie. I don't know what to say. There'll be a few people saying, oh, well, that's just ridiculous that a pie's in 2nd place. They're not called the Pies. I don't care. I don't know what a lattic is. I don't care. He's a pie. What more could you possibly want? I mean, look at his face. He's a very, very attractive pie. You want to eat him. That's what he looks like. He looks like a pie, and I don't know what to say. So, yeah, whatever the gender of the pie is, they are in at number 2. So then a pie at number 2, but a Womble at number 1, and it is Hayden the Womble from AFC Wimbledon. Iconic British national treasure Wombles, I would suggest, from the TV. Yeah, fantastic to still see that there are Wombles around at AFC Wimbledon now into League One, and for me they are iconic, and you know, most teams would snap your hand off to have a Womble as a mascot, and for that very reason Wimbledon win this list today. So Hayden the Womble is in at number 1. So that comes to the end of the video. Thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun making this one. It was a rather interesting topic to look into. Please like the video and subscribe if you haven't already, and drop a comment as well. Thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next one.